well, let's see. Let's don't tell them that. Let's tell them this, etc. So, yes, education system, the whole of it, everything about it just about is going to change considerably. Another question. After the bad guys are arrested and everything else that, they blame me. Drake said will happen, does happen. Does this mean it will also be an end to smart meters, chemtrail spraying, Agenda 21, NDAA, the Patriot Act, surveillance in our homes through smart appliances, food, he's got quite a list. Okay, yes, it means an end to all the garbage because they don't need to do that. Now, I'm going to add a little something about E.T. Story that I heard that was relayed by somebody who I know is reliable. In other words, they saw it. And E.T. was going along behind a chemtrail plane, scooping up the chemtrail, or snorting it, or whatever they do. I don't know how they work. Eventually, it got tired of the diet or whatever, or maybe some of the guys on board got indigestion. I don't know. However, it fired some sort of a, quote, beam-type energy device, and the chemtrail-spraying plane started smoking. The thing fired again, and it started smoking a little more. Then E.T. just simply followed it to the ground and hovered over there and then left. There was no reports on that date of any kind of a crash, accident, disappearance of an airplane. This is not a little airplane. These are the bigger, like 737 minimum, 737 size. So it ain't no little deal. But I thought everybody would like to hear that E.T. is taking exception to these chemtrail people, too, and apparently doing something about it. All of the laws, rules, regulations, the United Nations is going to be reworked. The North American Treaty Organization exists simply so that they could have a group of across-the-pond representatives stating whenever somebody disagreed with Britain, they could send in American troops. Britain could send in our own people to go die for something that somebody did at one of their embassies or disrespected the Queen or whatever silly reason they can come up with. We do have to deal with this stuff. Okay, another question. I'm just curious if you could release at this time some information on when these mass arrests will start. I'm not looking for an exact date. I know we'll make announcements, but he can give us a month. No.
No,
if I add any kind of a time frame, it's going to screw with the plan that's in place that they're working on real hard now.
Right.
Every bit of information that can be given out has been given from me, and I refuse to endanger anybody in either that's associated with our group or military or whatever operation.
I'd like to make one correction.
Murders in this already. Oh, go, Terry.
You know that document that went out, what to do, what not to do, et cetera, et cetera. It was great. We really don't know who wrote it, but we liked it. And actually, I shared it with a group of people from one of our calls the other night, and it ended up just going viral because, again, we don't know who wrote it. Just about everything in there was accurate, except that we do not know where the claim of arrest by April came from. That may be wishful thinking. It may be true. We do not know. So we need to make that little correction. We did not declare that they would all be completed in April. Okay, go ahead, Drake.
Thank you. Real source of laws piece together a compelling alternative countermeasures with corrupt legal and financial systems we find ourselves plagued by in today's world. I'd be very interested to hear my perspective on the work. Well, to be honest about financial, the whole of the reset process is going to change our financial system. So any work that's been done in that area other than at high levels, and I'm going to suggest internationally, are something that we're going to have to wait to find out about. Now, Teri is involved with a project that's what's in your debt. Is that the name of it, or how to get even with a bill collector, or what's the name of it?
Yeah, learning how to take your power back and go after debt collectors, make them pay you instead of the other way around.
What's the name of the thing?
It doesn't have a name. It's just education on how to learn to use the law and the courts to your advantage rather than, learning to be a victor instead of a victim.
Cool. I've heard that just about everything that can be done in terms of screwing the public has been done by financial systems or institutions of one form or another. There is no such thing as a legal third-party debt collector unless they have a contractual arrangement with the principal, and they're required, as I understand it, to prove it upon request.
Absolutely.
I had several of them call here, and I got upset with them. They weren't talking to me. They were talking to somebody else about somebody else's problems, and expressed to them that if they kept it up, I was going to see them in federal court, and they quit calling.
Yeah, my best advice out there, if you're being hounded by debt collection calls, answer it once. And you tell them, I don't discuss financial information over the phone. I need an address where I can communicate in writing, and I need your name. They'll give it to you. And then you tell them, stop calling this number. They won't. After that, every time they call, log it. Write down what time it was. You don't even need to answer it, as long as you can recognize that call. Write down the date, write down the time, write down the name of the company. Because after that first time, after you tell them to knock it off and deal with you in writing, that is a cha-ching. It is worth, every single call is worth $500 to $1,500 violation under the TCPA Act.
I want to step in here a minute because we get a lot of questions from other countries about how they're going to fit into this, and I just kind of want to let everybody know that Canada and Australia and a few others are in contact with the people that have put all this together or helping us to get all of this together. Canada is definitely one that is in the process now. I am forwarding on the information to the appropriate party to be in contact with those from Canada. So just thought I would throw that in there.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Deatra. I just have a statement to make in regard to Drake's interview with Mr. Wilcock. Since then, I've seen dozens of posts and claims and idiotic comments concerning Tim Turner's PSYOP Republic. I want to go on record loud and clear. Any claim that Turner is involved in what has taken place in regard to the return to civil authority, connection with the military, the White Knights, or any legitimate source of funding is an outright lie. This process was completed by the people, many of them ex-RUSA people, but not exclusively ex-RUSA people. It has nothing to do with forming a parallel or interim government. None is needed, and that would be considered treasonous by the people as well as the rest of the world. There is no group, no organization, and there are no leaders. This is exactly what we were instructed to do by our founders if and when we found ourselves in the grips of a criminal rogue government. Many have speculated that I was the leader. As I said, there is none. Yes, I was involved in so much that I did coordinate the completion of the process for my state. And I did help with communication and help other states, but I am not in charge of anything. The people are. And that means all of you out there, as it should be. This is about the American people finally standing up and saying, take this job and shove it. I quit, and you're fired. Back to you, Drake.
Drake and Teri.
Yeah,
this is JoJo.
Hey, Jojo, hang on just a moment. I was going to let people know that I do have JoJo Norton here with us, helping run the board, and she is also going to be filtering the questions from the chat room. And we have a couple of callers on the line. So, JoJo, go for it, honey.
I was just going to throw a couple of things out there. One person wants to know if you've been in contact with Stuart Rhodes, and does he know about all this, and what Stuart Rhodes' opinion is, or whatever, something about Stuart Rhodes.
The contact is being made this weekend at one of his conferences. He will be given a combination of information from one of his principal people that helps him a lot with the conferences set up and that sort of thing. And the man should email me, I would hope. And yes, they have some similar programs as well, but I don't think they are fully aware as to how far this has gone and the extent to which it has gone. So, yes, he's going to be made aware.
Well, he was made aware in November. He was on our show, and it was shortly after you had been on our show, and it was brought up at that time. So I know for a fact he is aware of it. Now, like you say, I don't know how aware he is of the recent developments. So y'all just go on if I find another good question.
Joseph, what I do know, hang on, what I do know is that we have had many people that are in Oath Keepers that have sent us mail, questions, comments, wanting to get involved, that I have forwarded on to Drake. Until we have Stuart's official word, that's all I can give you at the moment.
Okay.
Well, Stuart Rhodes is supposed to get my email address and things of that nature and contact information. That way we'll be able to have a little one-on-one, and I should be in the position to inform him, his group, and maybe post something on his website to the effect as to what's going on. I fully support Oath Keepers. I agree with that. That was one of the first things that I joined. And to be quite honest, I'm one of the founding members. There was like 600 or 700 people in it when I joined it. And due to that fact, I got a real good interest in terms of combining a little bit of the efforts we've got that are, he's got one, we got one, we put them together, we really got something nice. To go along with that, the membership should simply state on his website, you need to get in touch with Drake, and maybe that'll give a little incentive to it.
Right.
Now I got two other things, two more questions, and that's the end of my big list.
Right.
One of the people has come up with the issue of super soldiers, drones, or whatever you want to call them, and wants to know exactly how concerned everybody should be. Don't worry about it. Those matters are going to be taken care of as well. The people that we deal with are at a level that they are well aware of everything. If not one, another one. So, and they've put their heads together in terms of this effort. They've had to. So, I wouldn't be concerned about that issue. Now, last question. Foreign troops already here, now what? We've got some things that's going to come out, and I would suggest everybody go to David Wilcox's site, Divine Cosmos, and read his next article. It's going to deal with a combination of things, primarily what's called divine intervention. And I've already got a report from one of my people that stated that there were 2 battalions of opposing forces online, facing each other, guns ready. Both sides were given the order to fire. Everybody pulled the trigger and it went click. Now, you can't, that's not possible to have that much ammunition that don't work. So that's the sort of thing that you have to bear in mind in terms of the tank don't start, so how are you going to get it on the battlefield? You try to shoot a missile and nothing works. All of this sort of thing has to be taken into account. Now, the other part is this. I've been involved in a lot of what would be considered covert or semi-covert operations in terms of people giving me news that needed to be outed. One of the things I got informed